Hello, and welcome to another Monday's live stream. Today, I am going to talk about three main top tips you need to take into account to make sure your social media content stands out. These are three tips that are going to make such a difference to your social media content. And I'm going to be talking about why they make such a difference as well. And as usual, the third tip is going to be the best tip, the one that is going to make or break your social media. So if you're wondering why you're posting on social media and you're not reaching very many people, you may be reaching a fraction of the number of followers that you have on your platform, then today's live stream will help you understand that and also help you to transform your approach to social media content. So I'm going to be sharing three major tips that you need to take into account. So I'm Bex from Social Media Executive, and I train businesses how to effectively use social media, get more reach, increase your brand awareness, and more importantly, attract business inquiries, because that's what it's all about. So if you're watching live, please do say hello, introduce yourselves, join the chat. Tell me what business you're in. I do love to find out about who is watching these live streams. And if you are watching this on catch up rather than live, then again, please leave me any questions and comments, and I will get back to you after as well after the live stream. So for those of you that haven't heard of the Social Flock, this live stream is brought to you by the Social Flock. So the Social Flock is my social media support group. It's for basically busy business owners, busy marketeers who have to create consistent content, but simply not finding the time to do it. So we don't write it for you in this group. We all come together as members and we hold each other accountable to get our content written. So 1 hour a week, we all come together on Zoom and write our posts together. So we hold each other accountable. So within 1 hour, you'll have written your whole social media content for the week. So you don't need to procrastinate about it no more. You don't need to spend hours writing that one post, because I'm going to teach you up and train you how to create consistent and compelling content through the Social Flock. Oh, hi, Claire. Claire's one of our members of the Social Flock as well, from Winslow Youth. Thanks for saying hello, Claire. If you are interested in joining the Social Flock, again, you can join. The annual membership is only £45 per month. And it basically gives you loads of tips and advice and holds you accountable. It's basically, you don't need to outsource your social media management. You just need to join the Social Flock, and we'll help you sort your content out for you. So I'll put a link in the chat anyway, if you're interested in that. So today we're going to be talking about three top tips to make your social media content stand out. These are three tips that are essential if you are going to upskill and make your social media work for your business. These are also three tips that I see done wrong time and time again by businesses, which ultimately, if you're not doing these three tips, you're not likely to succeed on social media. So I'm going to share three tips that are going to increase your visibility of your content. Okay. And as usual, I'm going to leave the last one, the best one, till last, simply because there might be quite a few questions around that. And it's absolutely crucial. So before we jump into the tips, the first thing you absolutely need to consider when we're creating our social media is, how are we going to stop the scroll? Okay, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the people we want to attract the attention to on social media. So who is it we'd like a conversation with? Are they potential clients, partners, funders? Who's going to help us? How are we going to stop them scrolling through their social media platform? Their social media platforms are so full of content. So you've got to make sure that they just don't whiz on past and look at something else that's more interesting. Okay, so there's quite a lot of psychology involved when it comes to social media scrolling, and we've got to influence people to look at our content and to read it. Okay, in order to do this, we've got to make sure there's some sort of an emotional appeal to your content. Why would they stop? You know, how is it connecting with them as a person? Okay, how is your content doing that? How can you put some sort of emotional appeal into it? Or is it novel or unused content that they've maybe not seen before? Anything intriguing, a bit more novel, a bit different, really does stop people scrolling. Because let's face it, we're all a bit sick and tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. It's got to be visually appealing. Again, we're going to look into this in a bit more detail. And also that little bit of social validation. If there's a post that's doing really well and it's got loads of likes and comments, people love to see what that is. You know, if loads of other people are going to like it, they're more likely to like it as well. So people are more likely to look at content that's got a bit of love on it. People are generally curious as well. So if you've got content that sparks that bit of curiosity, you know, why are people looking at it? Why are people viewing it? Why should they read? Why should they look at what you've posted? And it's also got to have that element of personal relevance, if possible. You know, how is it relevant to me? Why should I stop and spend a bit of time looking at this content that you've created? You know, how is it helping me? How is it interesting me? So if you look at all these different areas, you don't have to have all these elements in your one single post, but they've got to have at least one of those little elements that are going to help people to stop scrolling by. Okay. So the first tip that I really want to focus on, and again, these 3 tips are the ones that I recommend my clients look at time and time again when it comes to social media content. And the first one is visual appeal. Okay. So we're looking at static images here. If we're looking at static images, people, they stand out, first of all. That's the first thing that people see. Now, videos are slightly different. Next week, I'm going to be talking about reels and what they are. So we'll talk about videos next week in the live stream. But if we're looking at images, then they've got to be striking, okay? They've got to stand out in the news feed. Maybe they've got some sort of recognizable content. Maybe it's a place that you recognize, somewhere you live, a business you've been to, a company you've visited, a person you recognize. That's going to stop and spark a bit of curiosity, okay? So you've got to have that sort of relevant, recognizable element, potentially. It might be an unusual image. I'm a bit addicted to wildlife images at the moment, and some really, really amazing, interesting wildlife images keep popping up, and I keep stopping and looking at those images. And then, of course, the social media algorithms realize I like that type of content, so they keep sending me more. So anything that's unusual or sparks that little bit of interest to that user, to that person that you want to reach. What is it they're interested in? What's going to make them look at this image? Okay. Now, these images don't have to be amazingly crafted. People are a bit obsessed by Canva, the free graphic design tool that you can use to create these beautiful marketing images with your logos on and your text and things like that. Well, I can tell you now, those sorts of images don't actually do very well because everybody's doing them. And it just looks like it's a business trying to sell to me. So they don't do as well in the feed. Images that are quite raw, real, just a snapshot on your phone, I can guarantee you're going to do better than a Canva image, okay? A nicely created one. And also a nice snapshot is actually going to be quicker than spending an hour on Canva creating a great image. So those raw, new images, photos do really well. For example, I was working with a pub. They were launching their new pub. And one of the pictures they put on was one of the staff, but it chopped the heads off, okay? It was just it chopped the heads off. And people were clicking on it to see who it was. Who was it that had their head chopped off? Again, a very, very raw image. So it's got to have that visual appeal to stop people scrolling on past, okay? people pause and look at your post, the social media platform is going to realize that it's someone stopped scrolling. Therefore, it's going to realize people are interested in this. They don't have to like it. They don't have to comment on it. Just stopping scrolling and pausing on your image will increase the reach of that post. Okay. So you've got to capture that person's attention when they're whizzing on through the newsfeed. Okay. So that's the first one. Focus on the visual appeal. The second one is, how do we grab attention through that opening line, that line of text? It's got to grab people's attention. Why on earth should they spend time reading your post? What's in it for them? Okay. So again, you've either got to resonate with your target audience, draw them in straight away, maybe highlight a problem they've got straight away, and then resolve it later on in the text. Or you could have that sort of immediate bit of intrigue. Can you sort of leave a little bit of a cliffhanger? What can you say to grab people's attention to go, oh, that's a bit different. Can I, can we read? I want to read a bit more of this, and maybe they're going to click more. And again, if people click more when the social media platform cuts off your lines and they click more to read more, that's classed as an action. That's going to give you more visibility because the social media platform is identifying people are interested in what you're saying. Okay. So basically, if you're doing attention grabbing opening line, you're getting attraction, you're attracting and encouraging clicks. Therefore, you're going to reach more people. Okay. If you can resonate with your ideal client, then you're drawing them in straight away. One of my favorite writers is Jo Watson. She's a copywriter. You may have seen her on one of my live streams. She joined me last year, but she is brilliant at creating that opening line that grabs attention straight away. So again, if you've not seen any of Jo's content, do look her up on LinkedIn. She's on Jo Watson. She's a copywriter, and just look through some of her posts. They are very, very good. Okay. So that's the second tip then, attention grabbing headline, that opening line, you grab their attention. Why is it relevant to them? So the third tip then, and again, if you've got any questions, want to say hello, please do post them in the chat. Always happy to answer any questions or any observations. If you've seen an opening line that was really, really good, do post that in the chat as well. So the third tip then is interaction. Okay, I've hinted a little bit about interaction in the last two posts. But if people interact with your post, then ultimately that social media platform knows people are interested in what you're posting about. So they are going to share it to more and more people because the social media platforms want to provide content that's interesting to their users. So if you create content that's interesting and creates clicks, then those social media platforms are basically monitoring your posts depending on the number of clicks you get. Now, that might not necessarily be a like, okay? Sometimes you might have loads of likes, but not reach many people. Clicks can be clicking the more button, clicking the image to enlarge it, clicking the like button, obviously, clicking the share button, clicking the save button. Yeah, simply just hovering over your post, as I've mentioned before, is an action. And it's an action that's going to tell that social media platform that people are interested in this. So it should be sharing it to more people. So when we're crafting our posts, we need to try and create interactive content. Because the more interactive our posts are, the more actions people are going to take on those posts and the further it's going to be shared by that social media platform. So the things that we can do is ask open-ended questions, but really simple questions that are relatable to our target audience. Can you ask a really simple, easy to answer, open-ended question that maybe, pulls at the heartstrings or resonates with that reader? Okay. Polls do really well. You can create polls on Twitter. You can create polls on LinkedIn. If you manage a Facebook group, you can put polls in Facebook groups. But polls or quizzes, surveys, that sort of thing, something that encourages comments below your posts, because comments are like gold when it comes to social media posts. The more comments you can get, the more people are having conversations under your posts. It's like gold dust. It really is. Social media platforms want people to come together and have a conversation on social media. So if you can create a conversation under your post, then you are going to get lots of brownie points. And by that, I mean that social media platform is going to share it to more and more people to encourage them to join the conversation. So if you can create a conversation through quizzes, through surveys, through just asking a really simple open-ended question, then that is going to massively increase the reach and success of your social media. And if you can encourage your readers to create user-generated content. So, for example, I saw there was a photographer, and she does dog photographs. And throughout the whole of January, she asked people to submit photos of their dogs, okay, and tag her in. So they were creating content for her on her behalf, and she'd offer some sort of little prize. But that created loads of momentum. They were sharing photos on her posts underneath. So everybody was joining the conversation. Now, we don't all have cute dogs. We don't all have really easy sort of visual social media content to write about. But if you tap into the hearts and minds of your followers, of your target market, then I can guarantee you can get a conversation going. If it's something they're passionate about, then tap into that and ask them about it. Okay. So those are my 3 top tips for increasing the reach of your content and helping it to stand out on social media. So again, if you've enjoyed this, please do give us a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or anything like that, please do type them in the comments. I can come back to those. And if you're watching this on Catch Up, please do make sure that you're following me on my social media platforms, where I share lots of tips and advice. And we have a live stream every Monday at 12:30. And next week, I'm going to be talking about Reels. So Reels are short videos, short form videos. And I'm going to be talking about why they are so important in your social media strategy. And more importantly, if you don't know what a Reel is, what exactly a Reel is, and how you go about capturing people's attentions through your Reels. So thanks for watching, guys. Please do give us a thumbs up, and I will look forward to seeing you next week at 12:30. Thanks, guys. See you again soon. Bye.